All right, hello. This is going to be a real fast rundown of iMovie, and we're going to start with the launch. Double-click the iMovie icon, and generally it's going to get you to this window. Once it pops up, I'll show you. And you won't have any projects because you're a new user, so you're going to click on Create New, and we have the option to do a trailer or a movie. Choose a movie. Moving on, one thing to point out about is when you're trying to import media, you can actually use this like image capture. If the camera is connected and you click import media, it will see the clips and you can choose them directly. But it's always good to have options, and you should have some on your desktop, so I'm going to show you another way to do that. That's going to be to take a clip and directly drag it onto the import media section. Be sure to make sure you stay on the project media that you're on. That's kind of an important step. So when you drop a clip in, it just looks like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put some more things in, so I have a lot more clips to look at and work with. And another thing that you can do, I'm going to jump to this real quick, is get sounds and sound effects and MP3s. This is the site that I recommend. It's called Fesliyan Studios. It's done by mood, by genre. Allows you to preview. And I don't know if you could hear that. And then it's a really easy download. So if you like the song, and there's quite a few to choose from, you just click the green arrow and it'll download it to your desktop, and that in itself is another piece of media. So images and videos and MP3s all become the building blocks of your film. So I'm going to take that MP3 and drag it into your view right here and just drop that onto the timeline so that we can see it. Okay, moving on. I've started the project, we've launched it, we're staying on the project media, we've imported our pieces. Let's take a quick look around what you can do. While you're in this media section, it allows you to see each clip, and when you hover over a clip, you've got a preview of it, but you can also scrub through that clip. If you select that clip, you can actually pre-select the moment that the clip's going to be cut. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking this clip, which is about 5.7 seconds, and I'm bringing it down to about 3 seconds. When I drag that down to the timeline, I'm actually creating my film. This is like the blueprint for how all the clips go together. And you'll notice that when I bring my mouse down here, I'm scrubbing through that as well. That's the way that you can do it. You also can take a clip, and if it tends to be long, do what's called a split. And that's a right click or a control click if your right click doesn't work. And you will get these options, and then you can do a freeze frame, detach the audio, but this is the split clip, and it just creates it into 2 clips. So my thought is that it's easier to do it here before you cut it, but you may have other reasons why you need to cut. And then of course you can take these and really intuitively move them around and resequence them. You can click on them, hit delete, and thin it out a little bit, and then basically get it to where you want it to be. You're probably going to have 10 shots on your first film, and maybe 30 or 40 or 50 on the next film. In addition to that, when I'm here, I can also work with volumes. I'm going to take this music down so you can see that there's another track underneath that I can add my song to. And you may want to drop the volume, so you're using that line and dropping the volume, or you may want to fade the volume in or out. And the way that you do that, I'm going to shorten this clip a little bit and then bring it over, is you get on this line and you hit Alt-click, and you create what are called keyframes right on the volume line. So if you want it to fade in, you create a couple of keyframes, and then that music will go up and up and up to get to the line where you're at. So as the music plays, it gets to that. So you're managing your audio. That's why you need your headsets to kind of listen to what's going on to be able to see how that works. Do also notice that you have settings that let you zoom in and out. So if you want to see the whole project, you zoom out and you can zoom in. And then you've got a navigation bar on the bottom that lets you move up and down, because films tend to get pretty complicated the more things that you put in it. That's about everything for here. You've also got audio and video, which may have some preset sound effects. It gives you something to play around with, and that works just like this. You can just add it to your song by dragging and dropping it. I'm not going to do that. You've got titles, and titles are drag and drop as well, although they drag on the track above where you want it to be, and you can trim it to fit the duration of the clip if you want to. And then if you double click on the title, you've got some tools here that you can work with to change the color, change the text, and change the font. So a lot of things that you can do to manipulate the look of the titles. And there's a ton of titles, and each one kind of shows you, again, like gives you a little preview about what that's going to look like, because many of them are animated. Backgrounds, think of those as pictures. You can drag them in between, so if you want like a cut to black for a couple of seconds, you could do that. It gives a little space between one clip and another. A lot of these things aren't going to be useful for most films, but that's how they work. Transitions, real easy drag and drop. I'm just going to drop the mosaic one in between two clips, and then what you'll see is you will see what that looks like if you play it as a preview. Drop that color window. And it's a little on the slow side, probably because I've got 4K footage, but when you're done with the film, it actually comes out a lot smoother than that. So it's that's the look that you're getting for that particular transition. And just like all transitions, you're going to get a little bit of a preview to see just what it would look like when you apply it. So that's all this right here. Moving on, I'm going to go back to media and put a few more clips onto the timeline just so I have more to work with. You've got if you select a clip, you have the ability to modify the clip one at a time with these tools right here. They call this the wand. I think of it as a magic wand. You just click on it and it will enhance your clip without you having to do much. It looks like it boosted the colors a little bit. Turn that off and on. You've also got an option up here to do a lot of color matching and white balance and skin tone balance. If you see something and you want to try it, use it. You've got this one right here, which lets you deal with exposure, so like photography, overexpose, underexpose, saturation, so that's oversaturating, that's draining the color out all the way, some of the way, and everything in between. And then you've got color temperature. Cooler temperatures tend to be in the blue end of the spectrum, warmer temperatures tend to go more towards the yellow. You've also got a crop option here, and cropping just lets you change the way that the shot is cropped, and once you do that and hit return, it centers it. That's going to become important, especially when you drop in an image, like a still image. Let me do this real quick, and I'll take this still image just so you can see. What happens is it does this Ken Burns effect for every still image. And so for the first project we do next with green screen, I'll try to remind you, but you're basically taking that crop window and either choosing fit or crop to fill. And what that does is keeps that zooming from happening so it's a static shot, because you don't want a background in a green screen shot to be moving, so it just keeps it steady. Image stabilization, I've got a tool here that's fairly new. If your camera is really shaky and you use this, you can stabilize the shot, and through the magic of algorithmic processing, it will figure out a way to increase the stability of the shot. Sometimes it makes it a little bit smaller because it clips everything. But again, because this is 4K, it's going to take a long time to try to stabilize this shot, so I'm not going to let it continue. I'm just showing you where it is. Another way for volume. So yes, you could do volume here, but if I click on this clip and I do volume there, you'll see that it's actually moving that line that I talked about up and down. You've got another tool here to reduce background noise. So if you have like a hum or a buzz in the background, you can apply that to a clip and it will clean it up so that you can hear the voice. So a lot of times you're doing dialogue and there's a big fan right behind you and you don't notice it till you listen to it that there's that background noise. You have this tool right here to reduce it. You also can deal with time. And so I'm going to use this clip, bring it back down so that I can see what that looks like. Actually, I'm going to try this clip right here. Get rid of that. Click delete. So just so you can see, she's moving forward on this shot right here. And I can do a couple of things. I can take that time and I can slow it down or speed it up. It generally will take, I didn't do it, make sure you select the clip that you want. It generally will take, and you see the rabbit there to show you. It will take the audio and it just makes it really high pitched unless you click this button, preserve pitch. And what that does is instead of hearing chipmunks, it lowers the tone down based on how much you sped up or slowed down the clip. And you've got all these modifiers here to go really, really fast, 20 times, 4 times, 8 times, and it changes the length of the clip as well. You can also reverse it. So I'm going to go back to normal and just show you what that looks like when you reverse it. It basically flips everything. So now when I push play, time is going backwards. And that could be useful depending on the kind of story that you're telling. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back to normal and show you the last one. The last one is the filters and audio effects. So when you have a clip selected and you click on clip filter, it takes a little while to render it, but you'll see you've got all these different styles of ways that the clip can look. And some of these become really useful, like day into night. So if you're shooting in the day and you want it to look like nighttime, you could do it. Negative, if you want to have an alien or something where they look at the world differently, X-ray or alien, If you're trying to go for an old film look, you can get a little bit of grain added, heat wave, and so on and so forth. A lot of different black and white styles. And just like you can apply clip filters and see them, you can also apply audio filters and see them as well. So I'm going to look at the audio effects and bring that into the space. And you'll have to experiment with this, but I'll try and crank the volume up so you can hear it on the mic. And it just might not be quite loud enough. But you can take that clip and then basically give it different styles. So for telephone, when I'm clicking on the clip and I'm doing the telephone effect, it's hard to tell when there's no voice in it. So, but there's robot pitch down, pitch up, make it sound a little bit echoey and whatnot. One other tool I forgot to mention, and I'm going to do right here before I do exporting, is the recording tool, the voiceover tool, and it's this microphone right here. When you click on it, you're basically creating a spot where you want to start a voiceover. And when I hit record, the red button, does a 3, 2, 1 countdown. And this is a clip of my daughter Lucy walking around. Someone said she kind of looked like SpongeBob, just a big backpack and 2 tiny little legs coming out. When you're done, you hit stop, and that voiceover is recorded 1 track down below the main audio tracks and below your main sound tracks, so you can keep adding things in. And that's a good one to play around with the audio effects so you can hear what they sound like, because when there's a human voice, it's much more obvious. Last thing you're going to do, basically, when you've got your film and you're working with it, you want to know how to turn this in. And in order to do that, you go up to 2 different places. You can go to File, Share, Image. Image or File. File, Share, Image. Or you can go to this clip right here, and it's not showing it, so I'm going to move over a little bit. Export file. That looks like a film clip. When you click on that, it'll tell you the details of the movie. It'll let you scrub through to make sure it's all there. It tells you how long it is, how big it's going to be. And then you click on Next. And then it'll give you a chance to do Final Cut or something. Point it towards your desktop so you know where to find it and hit Save. And then it'll do it. So it's going to give you a progress bar on how long it's going to take. Can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 or 6 minutes, the max that I think I've seen. You're generally going to see 2 files pop up, and you just have to wait till the 2 files turn into 1 file, and then you should just play it to make sure that it's done. That's giving me a backup test, and basically this file right here, Final Cut, it isn't finished until it looks like this. So you need to wait till you can push play, wait till the edit, the export is done or the sharing is done. There's a little progress bar right here that shows you it. And once your file looks like this, it's something you can actually turn into Canvas, and then that's something that we'll watch or share or score. That's it. That's the crash course for iMovie, and hopefully that's enough to get you started and really dive in and learn how all this works. I look forward to see what you try.